Begins tonight at the 94 World Championships from Makahari, Japan. And the view from above this spectacular facility, let's bring you inside the Makahari Event Center. A great, great scene for the 1994 World Championships. We're about 20 kilometers from downtown Tokyo. Move to the east end of the building, our host position for 6 nights of primetime coverage here on the second level. Good evening, everyone. I'm Brian Williams. Well, you just heard my good friend, Mr. Donald Stewart Cherry, talking about the courage of Isabelle Brasseur. Brasseur re-aggravated that rib injury suffered prior to the Lillehammer Olympics while practicing here in Tokyo. Now, this is bad news for the Canadian fans. In fact, Isabelle told me a short time ago she is in twice as much pain now as she was prior to the Olympics. No question. This event has been somewhat watered down by the absence of the professionals and medal winners like Oksana Bayul and Nancy Kerrigan. Still a tremendous competition in the men's field. Elvis Stojko goes for gold beginning tomorrow. The medals in the men's are Thursday. Great interest for Canadians tonight with Brasseur and Eisler. In addition to the injury, don't forget the pressure on Lloyd. He said at Lillehammer, without the professionals, the gold medal would have been theirs.
But Paul, tonight the main event will be the pairs.
Well, Barb, in the pairs competition with the absence of Gordiev and Grinkov as well as Mishkatunik and Dmitriev, Brasseur and Eisler are looking for their second consecutive World Championship title. But when you factor in Isabelle's injury, as well as the fact that at the Olympic Games, Isabelle and Lloyd were awarded the bronze medal on a 5-4 judging panel split over the Russian Shishkova Naumov, this event is very close on paper.
If you are just joining us, good evening, everyone. I'm Brian Williams, along with Chris Cuthbert, Barbara Underhill, and Paul Martini. And this is Dr. Jeffrey Robinson from Edmonton. He is the team doctor, and he is part of the big story, that being the recurring rib injury suffered by Isabelle Brasseur. What is Isabelle's condition as she prepares to skate in a few minutes?
Isabelle has a small crack or fracture on the outside of one of the ribs on her left-hand side. That's causing her quite a bit of pain when she tries to skate.
All right, let's put up on the screen the X-ray from earlier. You pinpointed the accident. There it is. You see the pencil mark. Again, it's a very minor crack.
It's a crack on the outside of the bone, what we call the cortex. And although it isn't displaced or out of position, as I mentioned, it does cause her quite a bit of discomfort when she tries to do some of her routines.
Now, is it true that you recommended she not skate?
What I talked to Isabelle about was the concerns that she could potentially aggravate it or make it worse, that it was going to cause her a lot of pain, but I left the decision up to her.
All right, she's decided to skate. How do you treat it? What can you do?
Well, we're going to try to add some padding as well. She gets some medication for the pain, and also she has some physiotherapy treatment, which helps to reduce it in between the routines.
When does it hurt? When she breathes, jumps, what?
It hurts almost with anything that she does, but particularly when Lloyd grabs her in the throws or in the lifts, and it causes her a lot of discomfort when he's putting pressure on the area that's sore.
Dr. Jeff Robinson from Edmonton, thank you. Very quickly, let's return to Barbara Underhill and Paul Martini.
Thanks, Brian. Well, there's no doubt that Lloyd and Isabelle want to leave their amateur career on a high note. And obviously, Isabelle is willing to go through a lot of pain in order to try to do that. Now, they had a good practice yesterday and also today, but they will be skating with complete control and with a lot of caution tonight. Now, under these circumstances, Paul, and with this field, winning will be a difficult thing to do.
Well, Barb, this is an interesting competition that we've got a number of rookies going against a number of established veterans. There are 2 junior world champions here representing the junior talent. They go against the likes of Wötzel and Steuer, who were the silver medalists here last year at the World Championships. You have to also factor in Kovaříková Novotný, who were silver medalists from 2 years ago, and we can't forget the Americans, Mino and Sands. So what we've got is a competition where after the first couple of places, it's virtually wide open. And Barb, as we look at the list of events in tonight's technical program, do you think there's one particular event that's going to make the difference?
Definitely the side-by-side jumps. Most teams will be performing the side-by-side double axel. It's the one with the most risk and the one that will see the most mistakes.
Well, perhaps it's going to be the consistent performance and not necessarily the brilliant performance that comes out on top here tonight. Chris?
Well, Paul, the first of Canada's 3 pairs here. Jamie Salé and Jason Turner are warming up. But next, Jean Senft takes us to where the judges make their mark in the Royal Bank judges' seat. Senft.
Some say the judges have one of the best seats in the house, and I won't deny that because we do have a good view right down there at ice level. However, it can be one of the hottest seats in the house, and part of the reason for that is because the decisions to be made must be done in a matter of seconds, and that adds pressure to the task. Let's take a look at the equipment the judges work with on the judging panel. At each judge's position, there's a display box used to punch in the 2 marks after each program is skated. If a change is to be made, the help button is pressed, and new numbers are then entered. From the box, the marks are displayed on the referee's computer screen. From here, the referee signals for them to be displayed for all to see on the scoreboard in the arena. Once the marks are shown on this scoreboard, they cannot be changed. Where the pressure comes in judging is the very limited amount of time in which to make decisions. Usually the marks are entered within 10 to 20 seconds following the end of each performance. That means the judges don't have much time to compare the last skater's performance with all the previous skaters. Further notes to be made about the programs are written as the marks are being announced. Judges need to make these notes for comparison purposes and to ensure they place the skaters in the order they feel they belong. The decisions the judges end up defending for years afterwards are in fact made in seconds. While experience and knowledge will contribute towards making good decisions, because they are so highly visible and there's such a limited amount of time in which to make them, there's definite pressure to the task, and the judge's seat truly can be a hot seat.
Well, Jean, the international judges got their first look at Canada's Jamie Salé and Jason Turner this year. She's 16 years of age from Red Deer. He's 23 from Barons, Alberta. They skate out of the Royal Glenora. 12th at the Olympics and looking to better that at their first World Championships.
Jamie and Jason have had a few difficulties here this week, some inconsistencies in practice. They said it's been really difficult to get motivated for this event after the high of being at the Olympics. Now, the key elements for them will be the side-by-side double axels. Jason has had difficulties with his in the past, and also the lift. Double axels. And Jamie did a single. Jason touched down with his hand.
And when you look at the deduction sheet, when you make a mistake on the solo jump in the technical program, he's looking at about a 0.2 deduction, and with her only doing a single, it's a 0.4 deduction. So for a combined total of about 0.6 off their base mark in the technical mark. That's on the assumption bar that all judges saw each of them make those mistakes.
It's really tough, especially because these two perform the double axels quite far apart. Sometimes you can only watch one at a time. Now here's the lift. That's good. Good strong landing.
This is their straight line footwork sequence. As they go into their final element, the forward inside death spiral, aside from the difficulties they had on the side-by-side double axel, I thought a better skate than what they did at the Olympic Games.
Canada's Jamie Salé and Jason Turner.
Here's a look at the double axels. Jamie clearly does a single, and there's the touchdown.
By Jason in the background. Here's their lift. This was an element that did give them a lot of difficulties in the Lillehammer, in the competition, but as you mentioned, Barb, it flowed well and had a nice, solid landing. Watch your extension on the landing.
They've been skating together for 5 years. Were fourth last year at the Canadian Championships, and Jason was saying that just watching the World Championships in Prague on television was a motivator. As soon as they were over, they went back to work, and that was a key to their success this year as they assess things with Coach David Howe.
Good job, Jamie.
Well, it's every skater's goal to make a world team, but when you happen to luck into a year where it's an Olympic year and to do both, it's really a thrill.
Near the required element marks, and the 4.0 from the German judge, 4.2s up to a 4.8. So the judges made the deduction on the side-by-side double axel.
Sorry, Chris, I think there was also a deduction on the side-by-side spin, which they got out of unison at the very end of it.
And the presentation marks come up. Second place marks from 7 of the judges, the third from Belarus, a fourth from the German judge for Salé and Turner. Back with more from Japan after this.
Kahare Event Hall here near Tokyo, the 1994 World Figure Skating Championships. 16-year-old Jamie Salé from Edmonton, 23-year-old Jason Turner. You go to Ross Shepherd High School at 16 years of age. How do you handle this pressure?
I don't know. I mean, school is a totally different thing for me. The school that I go to is very supportive, and basically the teachers just told me, go there and have fun. And so, I mean, there's no pressure from the school or anything, and I just come here and I do my best. And
as the old man, do you give her any advice?
I tutor her, no. I just, you know, as long as she can enjoy everything, you know. I mean, not many people at her age get the opportunity to go to the World Championships, or we just came back from the Olympics, so. I mean, my only advice is I've been through school and I've done all the missing class and stuff, and you got to have fun what you're doing.
Just a couple of seconds, some trouble with the axles. What happened?
Well, I mean, I had a few problems myself. I didn't want a 2-foot anymore. I did a lot of 2-footing at the Olympics. I thought I got to come out in 1 foot. Put my finger down, and I didn't even know what happened to Jamie. She just kind of, we were in the spiral sequence, she went, sorry, and I went, oh.
I always seem to say that to him whenever I miss my axle. I go, sorry. I just happened to slide off my edge on the axle, but.
All right, good luck tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Jamie Salé, Jason Turner. Let's go back to Chris Cuthbert.
All right, Brian, just a reminder, later tonight you'll see Isabelle Brasseur and Lloyd Eisler as they open defense of their world title. But right now, warming up for their debut at the World Championships, Kristy Sargeant and Chris Wirtz. They've come a long way as a team in less than 2 years.
Owners go.
It's been quite a ride for Chris and Kristy, a surprise silver at Canadians, then skating after the Olympic champions in Lillehammer.
I mean, to skate after, you know, the potential Olympic champions and the '88 Olympic champions, I mean, for us, what else do we have to lose? We skate after Lloyd and Isabelle at nationals. I mean, they are our national champions. There's no way you're going to defeat them. You just go out there and do your thing. So every time we skate after a great team, we just do our job. I mean, what pressure do you have? I mean, there isn't really any pressure because of the fact that no matter what you do, you're not going to beat them. You know, basically that's when you go into it. I mean, you can try as hard as you want, but when you're looking at a team with the experience and the talent level that they have, Lloyd and Isabelle and Gordieva Grinkov, I mean, you just do your thing. I mean, it takes, almost for me, it takes all the pressure right off.
There is real life pressure, though, being a 20-year-old skater and single mother like Kristy.
For me, it was probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do is when I moved from Edmonton to Montreal and leave her behind, because before that, skating was my life, and then she came and it was kind of a different situation. But in order to make her life probably better in the future, I had to do something. So I had to leave her behind.
So Kristy moved from Alberta to Montreal, where she lives with the Wirtz family and their 2 Great Danes, a move that's been mutually beneficial.
In '92, after the Olympic Games, about 5 months later, my partner and I split up, and I was going through partner changes and looking for partners, and Kristy's name came up real quick, And it was a fly-by-night sort of thing. We just phoned her up and asked if she wanted to try out, and she flew to Montreal in late October. And it just worked out, and we just kept going from there.
Theirs is not a perfect match, but Kris is ready to address the pair's biggest weakness, his size.
I mean, everybody has their problems. You know what I mean? You look at a lot of teams, jumping sometimes, the throws. I mean, we've got those sort of things. So for me to actually go into the gym and put a little weight on and bulk up and get a little stronger, I'll take my chances at that than throwing the throws out the window or not being able to do the jumps. You know, I like my chances better than a lot of other people.
Their coaching is an international collaboration between Kris's older brother Paul and Russian pairs mentor Igor Moskvin.
Very arrogant.
He gets with it. Like he gets a lot. He gets right into the lesson. Whoever he's working with, he just tries to help you so much. When we got there, we were skating about 2 or 3 arm lengths away, and we came back and we were an arm length away. Every time I lifted my arm, Kristy was there. We were becoming a mold. We were one person. And that's what he really helped us with, and we benefited a lot from that.
Well, Kris and Kristy talked about pressure, and there is some extra pressure on them here. Should Isabelle Brasseur not be able to complete this competition because of her rib injury, Canada would depend on Sargeant and Wirtz for a top 10 finish to qualify 2 Canadians for next year's Worlds. They were 10th at the Olympic Games.
Opening with the side-by-side double axels, which are very strong for them. Here's a look at the double twist. Here are the side-by-side double axels. A little wild on the landing there.
What I like most about it is the fact that they go into it holding hands right up to the point we're about to step into it and take off, and that demonstrates how close they are, and that's one of the critical things the judge would be looking for.
And as they mentioned in the profile, that's the influence of Igor Moskvin.
Little difficulties with the unison on the spin there.
Demonstrate the spiral sequence, which is one of the 8 elements. One of the skaters must complete the sequence, always being in a spiral position.
Is there overhead lift?
And I would have to say, in 1 year, that aspect of their skating has perhaps improved more than any other.
Well, I've just been so impressed with the improvement in a year. I remember seeing them last year at the Canadians and this year, I didn't even really think they were the same pair. I think most of that is just the time together that they needed.
Impressed by the confidence, no hesitation in any element that they attempted in this program. And I think it shows, as you mentioned, Barb, a great improvement, a sign of maturity.
Good position on the back outside death spiral.
We'll be back with the marks for Kristy Sargeant and Kris Wirtz when we return to Japan.
Everything was just a little different type. Yeah, but I like.
Back at the event hall, awaiting the marks for Kristy Sargeant, 20 years of age from Alex, Alberta, and 24-year-old Kris Wirtz from Marathon, Ontario.
Thank you.
And the required element marks, 5.1 through 5.3 from the Italian judge.
I wasn't losing anything at ending it.
I really liked the twist because it was big. It looked really good.
Let's go to Paul Wirtz.
Yeah.
He calls himself the manager. There's the presentation marks up to a 5-4. They have 3 first-place marks, a second-place mark, and right now they are in first place. So a nice job by Sargeant and Wirtz.
Good job. Thanks, buddy. Good.
Yeah.
Very good.
You want me to head on?
Number 21.
Here are the champions from the Czech Republic, Radka Kovaříková and René Novotný. After the Olympics in '92, they posted their best international result ever, a silver medal at the World Championships in Oakland. But that has been their only visit to the podium in a major international. They were 6th at the Olympics in Lillehammer.
Well, consistency has been the factor which has held this team back from getting back on the podium, simply because they've, since that time, yet to be able to put 2 strong programs together. Perhaps the best set we've seen so far this evening.
Now watch the beautiful, beautiful position that Radka hits here. Great extension in the air.
And I love the way the free leg stays up all the way down through the landing. Struggled with it, but they were determined to keep it on. It was on and off a couple of times through that, but they started together and finished together. This team has a real look of sophistication about them, and a big challenge is to come up with a technical program that highlights your best qualities, and I think this is a program which does that for them. It's one of those skates that they're going to come off the ice and realize that, yes, perhaps once again, we're in a position to get back on the podium. And now it will be up to them to come out in the long program and to deliver a second strong performance. Here we take a look at their side-by-side double axels. A little bit of distance between them, but well-timed, well-executed. And here's that lift. Transfer of position into the hip axle position. Now watch her free leg, which is at the top of your screen. It stays there all the way through until she touches the ice. Wonderful extension.
Perhaps their best skate in 2 years. We'll be back with their marks in a moment.
The marks for Kovaříková and Novotný. Required elements 5-4, 5-5, 5-4, 5-1.
Welcome back to the Markahari event hall. There's Irina Rodnina, who has worked with them, and we see the first set of marks by 4s, 5s, and 6s. Strong marks for required elements. Maybe it's skating after the Olympics that brings the best out in them. And the second set of marks goes up even a notch, and 9 first-place ordinals. A great performance by the champs from the Czech Republic, Kovaříková and Novotný.
number 22.
Well, here's an indication of the great depth of Russian pair skating. Gordieva, Grinkov, Mishkatunik, Dmitriev withdraw, so Russia can still reach back and send last year's European champions, Marina Ельцова and Andrei Bushkov, who have had an injury-plagued year, but are now healthy and determined to improve on last year's performance in Prague.
Perhaps because of the injury setback, they haven't had the opportunity to work on new material. This is the same technical program we saw last year, same costumes, same beautiful split double twist though.
What I love about this team is the aggression that they skate with, the confidence. Here they go into the side-by-side double axels.
She struggles but hangs on. In that side-by-side spin, but I would like to have seen a better sitting position from both of those skaters.
Overall, a very strong performance. I felt the twist was one of the highlights of the program. The lift was perhaps a little bit easier than most of the pairs will be performing, but a very aggressive program. Here's a look at that twist. Look at the height she gets. She's on a little bit of a lean.
You can see it there as we freeze the frame, and as she comes down, she squares back up as he gets a hold of her to assist her in getting back down to the ice. Like Wirtz and Sargent, they start this side-by-side double axel holding hands. You see her left side come swinging around, but she's in a position to pull it back and check the landing.
They were sixth last year at the Worlds from St. Petersburg. Marina 24, Andrei 25. She had a foot injury, and then he had a serious groin pull, and it just made it for a very inconsistent year of training for them. And when you combine that with the pro reinstatement in their country, it made qualifying for the Olympics just about impossible. And there is Igor Mospin, you saw working earlier with the Canadian team, and now with this team of European champions from 1993. How does that rate with Kovaříková Novotný? Well, here come the required element marks, and there's 2 3.57s on the board from the Czech Republic, Russia, and Belarus.
I think the difference here was the unison on the spins. Kovaříková and Novotný did have a problem with the spins.
And the presentation marks, 6 first-place ordinals and 3 second-place ordinals, so they are in first place ahead of Kovaříková and Novotný. The defending world champions getting set to skate. We'll be back with them after this. We're back at the Makahari Event Hall, and here are the defending champions in their final competition. Two-time Olympic bronze medalists, Canada's Isabelle Brasseur and Lloyd Eisler. But the big question here, not can they win, but can they complete this competition? You've heard the doctor discussing her rib problems and some difficulties in the warm-up.
Well, Isabelle had a fall on the double axel. They came around, tried it again, and Lloyd missed it the second time. The most painful elements for them here are the double twist, which they open with, and also the lift. Now here are the side-by-side double axels. Oh, a little touchdown there.
As per the rule book, a touchdown by a hand on the landing of a jump constitutes a .2 deduction.
Here's the lift. The reason this is so painful is because of the changes of position here.
Anyone who's had a rib injury will tell you that it's the type of thing that can aggravate you, not just when you're skating, but simply when you go to do something as basic as take a breath. And when you're out there performing, you're wanting to take not just breaths, but great big ones.
Not only that, but the nature of pair skating means that the catches and the lifts are all in that area, and very, very painful, I'm sure.
Nice to see a straight line step sequence with a degree of difficulty about it. So often most teams just simply make it an add-on element, and it really can stand out on its own if done properly and done well.
A very gutsy skate and a very gutsy lady.
Absolutely, we know it hurts, but not once did she show it on the ice. Isabelle Brasseur and Lloyd Eisler. Eric Gillies was saying that when she grimaces, most other skaters would be off the ice.
Here we see their split double twist, and when you freeze it, look at that. Look at where her feet are relative to his head. That angle shows that she's almost clearly right over his head. We talk about teams having a trademark element, and for them, that's it. A look at the side-by-side double axel, and you're going to see when she lands, she breaks at the waist, right side is down, and she has to touch down with her right hand to save the landing. Even with that deduction, I feel at this point in the competition, it's still the program to beat. I expect it to be the #1 skate up till this point. And I say that because of the quality of the twist. As I mentioned, the straight line step sequence was good.
The quality of the lift as well.
Here are the required elements in a 5.8 from the Australian judge and down to 5.4s from Russia and Italy. They're halfway there, but the long program will be more taxing on the sore ribs. The presentation march. And they have first place marks from 5 of the judges, 2 seconds, 2 thirds. The thirds from Russia and the Czech Republic, but they are in first place as Jose Picard looks on. Well, here's the top-ranked Russian team, Evgenia Shishkova, Vadim Naumov. They've had a great year, second at the European Championships, and as Paul mentioned in the opening, they lost out to Lloyd and Isabelle on a 5-4 split for the bronze medal. And we should point out it was the Russian judge that gave Canada and Brasseur and Eisler the nod.
With these two teams being so close, a clean skate here would certainly put Shishkova Naumov ahead of Isabelle and Lloyd. Some difficulties, a little out of position, but landed double axels nonetheless. This up quickly because there wasn't a fall on an element. You've got to get this death spiral in.
That was a very strange fall.
Well, as I mentioned, it's not like the judge has to look at his sheet and say, what's the deduction for that fall or that mistake, because it wasn't on a given element. So it's not like there has to be a mandatory deduction. Well, this is going to be very interesting because what a judge is faced with is a decision on what kind of an impact the fall had on the overall performance.
It's the presentation mark that Evgenia Shishkova, Vadim Naumov, they have been so solid this year.
And it was so hard to tell. It looks like she just either caught her heel and down she went.
And we'll be back with their marks when we return to Japan. We're back in Japan where Evgenia Shishkova was distraught as she came off the ice. And the first set of marks come up and really not reflecting the fall. 5-5 through 5-7. There is a 5-4 from Japan on the board. And now the presentation marks, and this is interesting. Despite the problem, they have 3 first-place marks. They have 3 seconds.
But, Kris, the most interesting thing is that nobody has got a majority of firsts at this point.
They also have a 4th. They're ahead of Brasseur and Eisler for the moment, but stay tuned because these marks could flip without a clear-cut majority.
Ingo Steuer, number 28.
Here's last year's silver medalists, Mandy, Wötzel, and Ingo Steuer of Germany, and I'm sure everyone who watched the Olympics will remember that terrible spill she took, stitches on her chin, and she told me yesterday she was swamped with letters from fans right through North America wishing her well. And they have been skating much better since then in what has been an injury-plagued year.
They open with a split double twist. carry good speed and good flow through that particular element.
Here's the key element for them, double axels. Oh, and Mandy does a single. This is a great spin. Really nice positions. Came onto the scene really strong and surprised a lot of people, but it seems this year there's been a lot of expectations, a lot more pressure, and they really don't seem to know how to handle that pressure.
Well, I'd have to think that in light of their season and the injuries that they've had along the way, that their confidence factor really has to be playing into it, simply because they haven't had the quality training time as a result of those injuries.
He was taken off the ice on a stretcher at Skate Canada. They didn't compete there. Then he was sick prior to the German Nationals, and it's been one thing after another.
It's a shame because this team really has a lot of potential. I think we will see a lot of them in the future.
They just did a split jump during the course of their step sequence, and technically that little split jump, some judges might argue, would be an additional element. And by the sheet that they must go by, that would be regarded as a 0.1 to 0.2 deduction. When you combine that with her single axel, which is a 0.4, I think we're going to see that reflected in their first mark. Here's a look at that missed double axel. Mandy just gets back off her heel on the takeoff and is in no position to stay in for 2 revolutions.
Same thing happened to Jamie Salé.
Here we see their lift. Nice flat out extension.
Marks for Wötzel Steuer when we return. We're back in Japan, and just to clarify the marks for Brasseur and Eisler, 4 first-place marks. Shishkova and Naumov had 3 first, but no clear majority, so they go to total second-place marks. 7 for Shishkova and Naumov. That's a combination of first and second-place marks. Only 5 for Brasseur and Eisler, and that's why the Russian team is leading so far. Here are the required elements for Wötzel Steuer. 5.0 up to 5.4. Even now, this team not completely healthy. She's been plagued with a bad cold this week. Assessing the marks with Monica Scheib, their coach. In the second set, there's a 9th-place ordinal from the Americans, a 4th from Italy, and overall, Wötzel Steuer are in 5th place as we join Brian Williams with the defending world champions.
Lloyd and Isabelle, the first question, how do you feel?
Okay. It feels good because we skated pretty good and we went through it, and that was our goal, you know, to make it through the short tonight. And I guess we did it really good, and we're happy of it because 2 days ago we weren't even sure to step on the ice, so we're glad that we made it and we got to compete tonight.
Really good is the proper description. Listen, you look like you were catching an egg. Do you know what I mean? How you throw it up in the air? When she came down, it was almost like you were afraid to grab her.
I tried not to be afraid, but I did make sure I thought about a lot more things, especially on the twist, the landing of the lift, the pair spin, things that really, really hurt. I had to think a lot more. I wasn't going to go half effort, but I had to make sure that I was thinking about those things. And it was good because it took my mind off. I was a little nervous tonight, and it took my mind off knowing that Isabelle was going to be good. And then I had to think a little bit to help us both through the program.
How did the injury change your program? First you, Lloyd, and then Isabelle.
I think when I came today, I was a little bit nervous in the fact that I didn't know how Isabelle was going to react. At home, at the hotel, Isabelle came to me and said, you know, I'm ready. I know I can do it. That made me feel 100% better. And then it was just a question of me being relaxed, having a good attitude, knowing that, and having Isabelle believe that I believed in her. And I think we did, and we proved that tonight.
Are you going to be able to sleep tonight? You didn't get any sleep last night with the pain.
I hope so. I'm sure the doctor's gonna give me probably painkillers so I can sleep properly, and you know, with my 5 pillows, maybe I'll find a comfortable position so I can fall asleep.
Gold medal tomorrow?
I have no idea. We got to get through tonight, tomorrow morning's practice, and then we'll make a decision whether we'll do the long or not. I know we'd both like to, but it's a question of physically.
Best of luck, gutsy performance by both of you tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lloyd Eisler, Isabelle Brasseur. Kris, back to you.
Thanks, Brian. And remember, any one of the top 3 can win gold tomorrow by winning the free skate. Shishkova, Naumov, the leaders. Brasseur and Eisler are second, and another Russian couple, Eltsova, Bushkov, last year's European champions, are third. Sargeant and Wirtz are in 9th place. Salé and Turner, the other Canadian pair, are 18th. And we'll have more from Japan after this. The event hall in Makahari, Japan, where day 1 of the World Figure Skating Championships is complete, and it was a good one for Canada. Brasseur and Eisler, with a courageous performance, are in 2nd place after the pairs technical program and in a good position to successfully defend their World Championship. And earlier today, Born and Kratz, the young dance team, tied for 7th after the compulsory dances. Not a bad way to celebrate Elvis Stoico's 22nd birthday. He'll go to work tomorrow. And with their thoughts, let's join Barb Underhill and Paul Martini.
Kris, as a pair skater, I skated every second of that performance with Isabelle, knowing that every time he threw her, caught her, lifted her, twisted her, that had to really be affecting her rib cage, and she must have been in incredible pain. But pair skaters seem to breed gutsy skaters. But Eric Gillies, their coach, has said that this is the easy part, the technical program. The long program will be much more difficult for them.